Sarah Mitchell pushed through the heavy glass doors of Meridian Corporation, her heels clicking softly against the polished marble floor. The morning sun streamed through the tall windows, casting long shadows across the bustling lobby. She clutched her portfolio tighter, feeling the familiar flutter of nerves in her stomach. Today was her first day as the new marketing coordinator, and she wanted everything to go perfectly. The elevator carried her up to the 12th floor, where the marketing department hummed with quiet activity. Sarah had spent weeks preparing for this moment, studying the company's history, memorizing the names of her new colleagues, and planning her first few projects. She was determined to make a good impression. Her new cubicle sat near the back corner of the office, close to the copy room. Sarah set down her things and took a deep breath, surveying her new workspace. The morning light filtered through nearby windows, and she could hear the gentle murmur of conversations and the soft tapping of keyboards. It felt professional and welcoming at the same time. Around 10 o'clock, Sarah gathered her first batch of documents to photocopy. The marketing materials needed to be ready for the afternoon meeting, and she wanted to give herself plenty of time to get everything organized. She walked toward the copy room, her arms full of papers and presentation folders. As she rounded the corner, she stopped short. The large copying machine stood open, its panels removed and internal components exposed. Tools were scattered across a nearby table, and she could see someone's legs sticking out from behind the machine. The person was clearly deep in repair work, completely absorbed in fixing whatever had gone wrong. "Excuse me," Sarah said softly, not wanting to startle whoever was working. "I was hoping to use the copier, but I can see you're busy fixing it." A man emerged from behind the machine, wiping his hands on a small towel. He wore simple jeans and a light blue button-down shirt, both slightly wrinkled from his work. His hair was a bit messy, and there was a small smudge of toner on his cheek. He looked to be in his mid-30s, with kind eyes and an easy smile. "Sorry about the mess," he said, gesturing toward the dismantled copier. "This old machine has been giving everyone trouble for weeks. I'm just trying to get it running properly again." Sarah smiled back. "No problem at all. I'm new here, so I'm still learning where everything is anyway. I'm Sarah, by the way. I just started in marketing this morning." "Nice to meet you, Sarah. I'm David." He glanced at the papers in her arms. "Those look important. How urgent is your copying project?" "I need these ready for a meeting this afternoon, but I have a few hours." "Please, don't let me interrupt your work. I can always find another machine somewhere else in the building." David shook his head. "No need for that. Give me about 20 minutes, and I should have this running like new. The problem is with the paper feed mechanism, but it's nothing too complicated." Sarah watched as David returned to his work, his movements careful and methodical. He seemed to genuinely understand the machine's inner workings, taking time to clean each component before reassembling it. There was something calming about watching someone who clearly took pride in their work, no matter how small the task might seem. "You really know your way around these machines," Sarah observed. "Have you been working here long?" "A few years now," David replied, not looking up from his work. "I've learned that most problems have simple solutions if you take the time to understand what's really going wrong." They fell into comfortable conversation as David continued his repairs. Sarah found herself relaxing for the first time all morning. David asked thoughtful questions about her background and her hopes for her new position. He listened carefully to her answers, offering gentle encouragement and sharing his own observations about the company culture. "The people here are genuinely good," David said, carefully replacing a panel on the copier. "Management actually cares about work-life balance, and there's a real sense of teamwork throughout the organization. You'll fit in well." "That's reassuring to hear," Sarah said. "I was a little nervous about starting somewhere new, especially at such a large company. Sometimes big corporations can feel impersonal. Not this place. The leadership here makes an effort to stay connected with what's happening at every level. They understand that the company's success depends on everyone feeling valued and supported." David finished his work and closed the copier's panels. He pressed a few buttons, and the machine hummed to life, running through its startup sequence. The familiar sounds of a properly functioning copier filled the small room. "There we go," David said with satisfaction. "Try it out." Sarah placed her first document on the glass and pressed the copy button. The machine responded immediately, producing a perfect copy. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for fixing it. I'm sure everyone in the office will appreciate having it working properly again. Happy to help, David said, gathering his tools. Good luck with your meeting this afternoon, Sarah. I'm sure you'll do great. As the days passed, Sarah settled into her new routine. She often saw David around the building, usually fixing something or helping solve a technical problem. He always greeted her with the same warm smile and genuine interest in how she was adjusting to her new job. Their brief conversations became a highlight of her workday. Sarah noticed that David seemed to know everyone in the building. Employees at every level would stop to chat with him, and he always remembered personal details about their lives. He would ask about someone's sick child or congratulate them on a recent achievement. Despite his humble appearance and seemingly simple job, David had earned genuine respect and affection from his colleagues. 2 weeks into her new position, Sarah was working late on a particularly challenging project when she heard familiar voices in the hallway. Through her cubicle opening, she could see David walking with a small group of people in expensive suits. They were discussing quarterly reports and strategic planning initiatives, using language that seemed far above the level of building maintenance. Sarah felt a curious stirring in her chest. Something about the conversation didn't quite fit with her understanding of David's role in the company. She tried to focus on her work, but she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to David than she had realized. The next morning, Sarah arrived early and decided to stop by the Human Resources department. She had some routine paperwork to complete, and she thought she might casually ask about David and his role in the company. The HR representative, Mrs. Chen, was happy to help with the paperwork and seemed pleased to chat with the new employee. I've been meaning to ask, Sarah said as casually as she could manage, there's a maintenance worker named David who's been very helpful to me. I wanted to make sure he gets recognized for going above and beyond his job duties. Could you tell me his full name so I can mention him properly? Mrs. Chen looked puzzled for a moment. David, I'm not sure we have any maintenance workers by that name. Could you describe him? Sarah provided a detailed description, mentioning David's work on the copier and his interactions with various employees throughout the building. As she spoke, Mrs. Chen's expression shifted from confusion to something that looked almost like amusement. Oh my, Mrs. Chen said softly. Sarah, I think there might be some confusion here. The David you're describing sounds like David Harrison, our CEO. He's been known to take a very hands-on approach to understanding every aspect of the company's operations. Sarah felt the world tilt slightly around her. The CEO, Mr. Harrison, believes that you can't effectively lead a company unless you understand how every department functions. He regularly spends time working alongside employees at all levels, fixing the copier, helping with technical issues, listening to concerns and suggestions. It's his way of staying connected to the real day-to-day challenges that people face. Sarah sat in stunned silence, replaying every conversation she'd had with David over the past 2 weeks. His thoughtful questions about her career goals, his insights into company culture, his genuine interest in her success. It all made perfect sense now, but it also made her feel slightly embarrassed about how she had treated him. That afternoon, Sarah found herself walking past the executive floor. Through the glass walls of the corner office, she could see David, CEO David Harrison, in a meeting with other senior executives. He was dressed in an expensive suit now, but his demeanor was exactly the same, attentive, thoughtful, genuinely engaged with the people around him. As if sensing her presence, David looked up and caught her eye through the glass. He smiled and gave her a small wave, the same friendly gesture he'd always used. But now Sarah could see something else in his expression, a quiet acknowledgement that she had discovered his secret. After his meeting ended, David appeared at Sarah's cubicle. I heard you might have some questions for me, he said with a gentle smile. I feel so foolish, Sarah said, her cheeks warming with embarrassment. All this time, I thought you were just doing maintenance work, David finished. And in a way, I was. Taking care of the things that keep this company running smoothly is part of my job, whether that's fixing a copier or making sure our newest employees feel welcome and supported. Sarah looked at him with new understanding. You could have told me who you were. I could have, David agreed. But then our conversations would have been different, wouldn't they? You would have been talking to the CEO instead of just talking to David. I learned more about how you really think and what you really need by letting you be completely natural. And what did you learn? David's smile broadened. That we made an excellent choice in hiring you. Your instincts are sharp, your work ethic is strong, and you treat everyone with respect regardless of their position. Those are exactly the qualities we value most here. Sarah felt a warm glow of satisfaction, but more than that, she felt a deep appreciation for the kind of leader David Harrison had revealed himself to be. Thank you for the lesson in leadership, she said. I'll remember it. I hope you will, David replied. And Sarah, the copier has been running perfectly ever since that first day. Sometimes the best way to solve a problem is to take the time to understand it completely before you try to fix it.